to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. So today I am finally sitting down to review the new e.l.f. Beautifully Precise brush collection. And if you guys follow me on Instagram or Snapchat, you might have seen me post about them here and there, but I haven't had a chance to sit down and film a full review for you guys. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to tell you which ones I think are worth it, which ones I think you should skip, and just my thoughts on them. So if you guys were not aware, e.l.f. did release a brand new brush collection. So this can be purchased as a set, or you can purchase the brushes separately. So I definitely want to go through and tell you about each of the brushes individually in case you're interested in purchasing them separately. I love that you can purchase them separately in case you don't want the entire set. I think a lot of people have brushes here or there, and you might want the set, but you might just want one or two. So I think it's great they made them available separately. So the brushes range from $5 to $12. There are two brushes that are $12, a couple that are $10, and then all of the eye brushes are $5. So they definitely are affordable when it comes to brushes, but some of them might be a little bit more expensive compared to other e.l.f. brushes. They really are designed beautifully. They have a clear triangular handle, a nice silver ferrule, I think that's the technical term, and then they have really soft, beautiful white synthetic bristles. These are 100% cruelty-free and 100% vegan. The only one that differs is this one, which has a completely silver handle. So if you do purchase all of these brushes together, it does cost $74, which is a little bit expensive in my personal opinion for a brush collection. They are absolutely beautiful, and I think the quality is definitely there, but there are a lot more affordable options out there. So I wanted to go through them individually and just give an individual review to each one so you can decide which ones you need to add to your collection and which ones you can skip. So I'm going to start with the most expensive and then work my way down to the least expensive. So the first one that I want to talk about is the number 101 powder brush. This one retails for $12, so it is one of the more expensive brushes in the line, but I also think that it is one of the better brushes in the line. It's really, really beautifully made. This has a very nice weight to it. I think I already talked about that in the beginning of the video, but it feels really nice in your hand. I love how it looks, but I love how it applies product. So you could use this to apply like a translucent powder all over your face or a setting powder. I think it would work great with the e.l.f. HD setting powder, or you can use it for blush or bronzer. I've really been a fan of large, fluffy powder brushes lately. I feel like they make your bronzer go on beautifully, and same with your finishing powder. It is so incredibly soft. It's one of the softest brushes that I own, and it's definitely one of the larger, fluffy brushes. I have a few like this, and I like this one because it is so soft, so it feels so nice on the face, but it just distributes the powder really evenly, and it gives you a nice flawless finish. So this definitely is one of the brushes that I would recommend because I feel like you can get so many different uses out of it, and it really just feels like such a high quality brush. The next one is the number 102 Multi-Blender Massager. So this one's really interesting. I feel like a lot of people are curious about this brush because I personally haven't seen anything like it on the market, and again, this one is one of the more expensive ones. It's the other brush that retails for $12. So the website does say you could use this one to apply foundation, but personally I wouldn't really use this as a foundation brush. I just feel like the shape is a little bit weird for a foundation brush unless you are going through and blending all of your foundation after you apply it. If you like a really natural finish and you're not necessarily looking for a super full coverage like stippled effect, this might be a great option for your foundation, but personally I would recommend it for applying powder. I think the shape is a little bit strange for foundation. I think it's a little bit too big for, you know, the typical person, and I have like a larger face, so if it's too big for me, I feel like it's going to be too big for a lot of you out there, but I think it might be a good option for applying bronzer. Personally, I've really been a fan of like a big fluffy brush and then a smaller contour brush for my bronzer, so I feel like this one kind of gives me too much of a blended appearance, but if you really just want to warm up the skin and you're not looking to do any intense contouring, it might be a great option. I don't necessarily know that the massaging bubbles do anything special. I feel like it almost makes your bronzer go on a little bit unevenly in my opinion, so personally this is one of the brushes that I would skip in the collection unless you're really curious about trying it out. I don't know, I feel like $12 is a little bit of an expensive price to try it out and not be completely satisfied with it, so personally I would skip this one unless you really are just curious about it. The next one is the number 103 Airbrush Blender, and this is definitely one of my favorites. This one retails for $10, and it's just the perfect brush for applying your foundation. If you are a fan of stippling your foundation or blending your foundation, I definitely recommend this one. I actually use an e.l.f. brush every single day to apply my foundation normally, so I was really excited to try this one. I almost like this one better than the e.l.f. brushes that I generally use for my foundation because the shape is really interesting. It's just great for applying your foundation onto your face, but also for blending it in. I really do feel like this gives me a nice airbrushed effect. Actually, the first time I used it, I looked in the mirror in the bathroom where the lighting is a little bit different, and I couldn't believe how good my skin looked. So I definitely recommend this. I will be using it every single day for my foundation, and I feel like it's just a good option. Even if you're looking for a brush for liquid contouring or liquid highlighting, this will be a great option for you because it's shaped really nicely. The bristles are super soft, but it is dense at the same time, so you get a nice even application, and I love it. I definitely recommend this one. The next one is the number 104 Precise Sculpting Brush. This one I think would be absolutely perfect for cream contouring. If you are a cream contouring or cream highlighting fan, I think that this will be a staple in your collection. Personally, I use powders, and I feel like it did apply the powder nicely, but it was almost a little bit too precise for me because it is so thin. I felt like I got too thin of a contour line. It's a little bit more difficult to blend out powder once you apply it so precisely, but I feel like creams are a lot easier to work with. So this would be a great starting point to apply your contour and then blend it out with the next brush I'm going to talk about. But at the same time, I will definitely be using it. I think it might be a good brush for contouring your nose if you like to do that. But in general, I just like the design of this brush. Okay, the last face brush is the number 105 Precise Airbrush Stipple. So this one's a little bit interesting. I think the website said you can actually use this for applying foundation, but for me, it's a little bit too small to apply foundation. I feel like it just would take forever because I like a little bit of a larger brush like this one. But I feel like, again, this one would be great for cream contouring and cream highlighting. So I know I've said that a lot in this video, but if you are a fan of cream contouring or cream highlighting, there are definitely a few brushes in here that would work well for you. Personally, I like to use it to apply my highlighter because it is just a nice synthetic brush. I feel like it makes my ColourPop highlighters in particular go on really nicely. I also used it to blend out my bronzer, and I think it did a great job. I would definitely recommend this one over this one for applying a powder bronzer because you do get a more blended effect, whereas this one would be great specifically for cream bronzer because it is so precise. I think this is definitely a brush that would come in handy in your collection. I think $10 might be a little bit expensive because it's not necessarily a staple brush in my collection, but if you do need a brush like this in your collection, I think it is a very good quality brush and you would be able to find uses for it. So there are 4 eyeshadow brushes in the collection. One of them is a dual-ended brush, so it's kind of like 5 brushes, or you get a 2-in-1, and all of these retail for $5. So let me go through them and tell you which ones I like and which ones I would recommend. So the first one is the number 201 Precise Eyeshadow Brush. This one actually reminds me a lot of their, I think it's called like their eyeshadow C brush or something like that. They have a brush like this in their collection and it is very similar, but the bristles on this brush are so soft. They apply shadow beautifully, and I would recommend this if you want more of a diffused look. If you're looking to pack a color onto the lid, this might not be the best option for you because the bristles are so soft. I feel like it gives you a really beautiful soft effect on the eyes. So personally, I like to use this to apply like an under the brow highlight, an inner corner highlight if I don't want it to be too intense, or just a lid shade if I want it to be a little bit more subtle. Even though it is a synthetic brush, I wouldn't necessarily recommend using this one with cream shadows. I mean, you could, but I think in general it just works best with powder shadows and applying them really softly to the eyes. So if you're going for a really soft natural look or a super blended out look, this might be a great option for you. Those are my thoughts on this one. I think that this one is probably my favorite, either this one or the next one I'm going to talk about. So this one is the number 202 Precise Smudge Brush. I really like this one. I feel like this one does have a few uses as well. I like to use it to smudge eyeshadow on the lower lash line. I do that every single day, and I think it's just the perfect shape. It's not too fluffy, it's not too stiff, it just gives you a nice blended out appearance, and it's a little bit tapered on the end, so you get a nice precise application, but the rest of the brush is really flexible, so it's also blended out very beautifully. If you are a big fan of like smudging out your eyeliner or just applying eyeshadow as eyeliner in kind of like a smudgy, messy way, this would be a great option for you. I wouldn't recommend using it as a crease brush or, you know, even like an outer corner brush because it is so precise you won't get a very blended out appearance on like the crease, but you would get it on the lower lash line or the upper lash line. I think this will definitely be a staple in my collection, and I would definitely recommend this one. So the last two are kind of optional, I guess. I would say if you have brushes like these in your collection, you could skip these, but if you're looking for brushes and you don't have these in your collection, then you might want to purchase them. So the first one is just a basic brush. I think it's nice they included it in the collection for people who are looking to buy the entire collection at once, and you know, it is a staple. It's something that you could use every single day. But if you have a brush like this, I wouldn't say you necessarily need this one. So this one is the number 203 Precise Dual-Sided Eyeshadow Brush. But it comes with an eyeliner brush on one side and then a spoolie on the other side. So they definitely come in handy. I use these spoolies for my eyebrows every single day, and I use these eyeliner brushes to apply eyeshadow on the upper lash line, or you can use it to fill in your eyebrows. I think that it is made really beautifully, and it's a nice brush for sure, but if you already have it, then I wouldn't say you need this one. And the last one is the number 204 Precise Eyeliner Brush. So I actually think that this is a really nice eyeliner brush. I typically see eyeliner brushes that are flat like this one, but this one's pointed, and I'm not a huge gel liner fan, but if I was, this is the type of brush that I would prefer. I think a lot of times when they make these brushes, they make them a little bit too thin and too flimsy, but this one is a little bit more pointed and a little more stiff, so it makes the eyeliner application a lot better. I think it's great for winged liner or just applying a gel liner or even a liquid liner on your upper lash line if you prefer to use a brush. So if you are looking for a good eyeliner brush, this might be a great option for you. If you already have one that you love, I wouldn't say you necessarily need to run out and buy this one. Okay, so that is my overview of the new brushes. I think that they are beautifully made, and I think they are worth the price, a lot of them. I mean, the only reason I wouldn't recommend some of them is because if you already have brushes like that in your collection, you don't necessarily need these, but if you're looking to add a new brush set to your collection, I think that this would be a great option. They are absolutely beautiful, and they don't feel cheap. They feel like nice quality brushes. They look beautiful, and they work really well. $74 is a little bit expensive, but I think when you break them down individually, I don't think they're overpriced. I think they're definitely worth every penny. But I would just personally recommend grabbing which ones you need from the line if you don't want to spend $74. I'm pretty sure this brush collection is limited edition. I don't know how long they will have it for, so if you guys are interested, I will have their website in the description box below so you can check them out. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I am planning on doing not a tutorial, but maybe like a get ready with me or demo using these brushes. I have a huge e.l.f. order coming in, so once that arrives, I'm planning on doing like a full face e.l.f. maybe like get ready with me or try new products or something like that. So let me know if you guys do want to see that video, and I'll be sure to film it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.